Hello, welcome to Feasting on the Word for October the 18th, 2023. This is a very ancient discipline to intentionally immerse ourselves in Holy Scripture, in God's inspired Word, that we might be inspired ourselves by it, that we may find within it encouragement for what we endure. And part of the way to do this in a way that doesn't make it overwhelming is to take a tiny little passage of it and read it multiple times just in a short little discipline. And so we read the same little passage of Scripture 4 times, interspersed only with silence. So we read it once and have a minute of silence. We read it another time, have a minute of silence. We read it a third time, have a longer period of 3 minutes of silence, and then conclude with a fourth and final reading. That longer period of silence is an opportunity for us to turn to God with our reflections on this passage that we've heard. And so sometimes it can be helpful to have something to write with and something to write on nearby, to write down one's impressions of the passage as it is read through those first 3 times, to then use that as the material for prayer. I'm going to be reading from 4 different translations, a little way of updating this discipline: the New Revised Standard, the Message, the Contemporary English, and then finally the New International Versions. And this week I'm going to read from the book of Proverbs, which is always a challenge as the passages and often single verses can stand independently from one another. So I've done my best to put together a few verses from Proverbs that we might use these for this discipline of feasting on the Word this week. So the passage is Proverbs 19, verses 19 through 23, beginning with the New Revised Standard Version. A violent-tempered person will pay the penalty. If you effect a rescue, you will only have to do it again. Listen to advice and accept instruction that you may gain wisdom for the future. The human mind may devise many plans, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will be established. What is desirable in a person is loyalty, and it is better to be poor than a liar. The fear of the Lord is life indeed. Filled with it, one rests secure and suffers no harm. Our second reading from Proverbs chapter 19, verses 19 through 23, from the Message. Let angry people endure the backlash of their own anger. If you try to make it better, you'll only make it worse. Take good counsel and accept correction. That's the way to live wisely and well. We humans keep brainstorming options and plans, but God's purpose prevails. It's only human to want to make a buck, but it's better to be poor than a liar. Fear of God is life itself, a full life, and serene, no nasty surprises. Our third reading from the book of Proverbs, and this will follow with a longer period of 3 minutes of silence, Proverbs 19, verses 19 through 23 from the Contemporary English Version. People with bad tempers are always in trouble, and they need help over and over again. Pay attention to advice and accept correction so you can live sensibly. We may make a lot of plans, but the Lord will do what He has decided. What matters most is loyalty. It's better to be poor than to be a liar. Showing respect to the Lord brings true life. If you do it, you can relax without fear of danger. Our fourth and final reading of Proverbs chapter 19, verses 19 through 23 from the New International Version. A hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. Rescue them and you'll have to do it again. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you'll be counted among the wise. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. What a person desires is unfailing love. Better to be poor than a liar. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. This is the inspired word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.